Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Top 40 Theory. My name is Asaf Paris, and today I want to talk about the song Karma by Taylor Swift featuring Ice Spice. The version featuring Ice Spice is the remix that's currently sitting at number 2 in the Hot 100. And what I wanted to talk about with regards to this song is the use of phrase syncopation in the chorus. So, what is phrase syncopation? Basically, when you have a section, it's often made up of 4 measures or 8 measures, and each one of these measures we call a hyperbeat because you have the beats within the measures 1, 2, 3, 4, but you also have the larger beats within the section. And often, like if a phrase is 1 measure long, that's going to be a beat, and then the next phrase is another measure long. So that's going to be a beat, or rather a hyperbeat. So each measure is going to be a hyperbeat, or sometimes each 2 measures is going to be a hyperbeat. So sometimes those hyperbeats they align with the phrases, but sometimes the phrases which we can think about just like we have hyperbeats, we can think of the phrases as kind of hyper notes or meta notes. So instead of having a one note, it's a bunch of notes that just groups together into a unit that makes it into a hyper note. So oftentimes they align with the hyperbeat, but sometimes, like in this case, they're syncopated, meaning they might be shorter or longer and they don't come in on the same spot. So in this song, for example, you can see the first phrase coming in on the 1, then the second phrase coming in on the 4, and it's only 2 beats long. The third phrase coming in on the 2, and it's 5 beats long. It's fairly loose in this chorus. So let's take a look at that. Here it is. Let's listen to the first half of the chorus.
Karma is my boyfriend. Karma is a god. Karma is the breeze in my hair on the weekend. Karma's a relaxing thought. Aren't you envious that for you it's not?
All right, so pretty loose. You have 3 beats, 2 beats, etc., something like that. A couple of things now that we sort of understand what phrase syncopation is. First of all, what's good about it? What's the benefits of it? So first of all, it creates some sort of like a balance that more straight type of sections don't have, and it creates a contrast from the other sections. It creates some interest. Again, when I talk about interest in this context, it's not intellectual interest. It's not something that you're going to bring up at a party. Oh, did you hear that phrase syncopation? That's super interesting. No, it's kind of like visceral interest. It's basically a way to, with all the repetition that you have in a pop song, make the listener feel like there's always something fresh, always something that's like changing, and they will probably not be consciously aware of this phrase syncopation or these changes, but they're going to feel it. So you get the bounce, you get that interest, but you also have the contrast from other sections that might be more straight. And often when you have phrase syncopation, it's going to be in one section, and then other sections around it, before it or after it, are going to be straight, so we can have that contrast. So let's look at what comes before that. So you have the verse, or let's actually look at the pre-chorus first, because that's what comes immediately before the chorus.
I keep my side of the street clean. You wouldn't know what I mean.
Okay, so very straight, very divided into two very straight phrases, and then you get into that phrase.
Karma is my boyfriend. Karma is a god. Karma is the breeze in my hair.
Right? A lot more bouncy than those two straight phrases, but you needed those straight phrases to make that balance effective. So oftentimes when the chorus is good, it's not just the chorus, it's what comes before it that sets it up in the right way, and vice versa. If the chorus is bad, sometimes, and I think one of I forget who said it might be Rami Yaakov, one of the Max Martin's guys, that sometimes if the chorus is not good, it's not the chorus's fault. I have to look it up who said that. So, but that's a statement I really agree with. And again, the verse also pretty straight. There's a little bit shorter and longer phrases, but in terms of like hitting the measures, it kind of starts and ends the same way.
You talking shit for the hell of it. Addicted to betrayal, but you're relevant. You terrified to look down.
All right, so very straight. Once you get to the chorus, you have that phrase syncopation. Now, after the chorus, you have Ice Spice's verse, which also has phrase syncopation. It's a little bit different, the phrase syncopation here. Instead of being loose, like 3 beats, 2 beats, 5 beats, for a very long time, it stays on 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's almost like it creates some kind of polymeter or polyrhythm. Not quite, but it's sort of like, you can call it like a hyper polyrhythm. So you have, instead of like 1 against 3 in the lower level rhythm, you have 1 against 3 on the phrase level, or sorry, 4 against 3 in the phrase level.
Karma is your text about to bounce. Karma is the fire in your house, and she about to pop up unannounced, and she never leaving you alone. Watch her put you.
Right, so so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but the meter under it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's right. So you got the accents on different spots, but you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pretty steady. So that's in a nutshell what phrase syncopation is. This is how it's used in this song. I think it's used very effectively. And as you can see, in terms of like the real estate, it gets a lot of real estate. Most songs don't have that much real estate for phrase syncopation. They'll have more kind of straight things around it. But it comes in different flavors every time. So obviously you have the 3 repetitions of the chorus, but you also have the kind of like, there's kind of a cross between the bridge and a down chorus, which is kind of similar rhythmically, melodically, but with different lyrics.
Karma is the thunder, rattling your ground. Karma's on your scent like a bounty.
Right? And then you have the outro, which, kind of gets stretched out. And so you still have the real estate of that melody, but a very different vibe.
Karma is my boyfriend. Karma is a guy.
Again, we've talked about recycling a lot. It's just a way to give the same melody, sometimes the same lyrics, the same hook, more real estate while still keeping it interesting, still changing up enough things so the listener stays interested. So that's it. I hope you found this informative. I hope you go and use this in your songs. And go use it. Go make some hits.